A state trooper entrusted with protecting New Jersey's anti-gun governor, and one of the few class of citizens allowed to be fully armed in the state, has stalked and killed his ex-girlfriend, her recent boyfriend, and then turned the gun on himself. What's more, the crime has revealed a much larger web of corruption. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel with a dark, tragic story. I expose the criminal acts of anti-gun politicians and activists whenever I can, but this one is especially twisted as it not only shows the dangers of limiting someone's access to self-defense, but the corrupt system that allowed the victims to go unprotected. But before I get into these sad details here, this video is brought to you by Blackout Coffee Company. Good coffee is my one vice, and I know the last time I said that, some people questioned it in the comments, but it's true. Coffee and chocolate, that's it. And Blackout keeps me going every day between reining in the feral toddler, doing our homeschool lessons, running the channel, writing a book, and having the fortitude to get through the news every single day. And I know that Blackout supports the Second Amendment, channels like mine, and that whenever I pick up a partner roast, my money is going back to the gun rights groups that I trust to win that fight. So to help out the channel and get a cup of coffee, tea, or hot chocolate that you can be proud of, head on over to blackoutcoffee.com/libertydoll. 33-year-old Lauren Semanchik of Pittsfield, New Jersey, and her recent boyfriend, Tyler Webb, who was a volunteer firefighter, were found dead of gunshot wounds outside Semanchik's home in early August. Having feared for her safety from her ex-boyfriend, State Police Lieutenant Ricardo Santos, she'd installed cameras in her home and her car. Video from those cameras caught her suspected murderer on film, showing a white SUV following her home from work and someone emerging from the woods around her home on the night of the murder. Santos was later found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound in that very same car with the suspected murder weapon beside him. Santos was not only a cop, but was on anti-gun Governor Phil Murphy's armed security detail. In New Jersey, law enforcement is notoriously exempt from most, if not all, of the state's strict gun control laws. Police are also the ones responsible for awarding gun permits in the state. In this, they are a special class of citizens getting special access to their Second Amendment rights, while regular citizens do not. Semanchik had called 3 separate police departments several times and tried to file reports on Santos's aggressive and threatening behavior, even tried to get a restraining order for nearly a year before she was killed, and all of those calls and pleas went ignored. So let's back up here and see how all of this managed to happen. Semanchik was a well-known and well-liked veterinarian in the area. She'd dated Santos, aged 45, in early 2024 for only 3 months. At the time, Semanchik was recovering from an auto accident and was in a wheelchair. Santos was reportedly very helpful and doting, but according to the victim's family, once she got better, she went back to work and the relationship changed. They said that he became controlling, read her diary, started fights, and accused her of cheating on him. They broke up, but Santos didn't stop contacting her. She blocked him, so he repeatedly called and texted her from restricted numbers. She blocked those too, but it didn't stop. He showed up to her work and vandalized her car, stuck water in her gas tank, and even broke into her home to plant recording devices. She even found them hidden in her bedroom. Text messages between the pair have recently been released. Starting only 1 month after the breakup, Semanchik repeatedly asked Santos to leave her alone, told him that she felt threatened, she was scared of him, and told him that she was going to get a restraining order. Every time, she was told that no one could help her or no one was available to take her reports or calls. In the vandalism incident, after she tried to make a report to not only local police, but reported it to a state trooper who worked with Santos as well, the local police department contacted Santos to tell him the report had been filed and advised him to stay away from her. That was it. When she went down to the station, she was told that no one was available to speak to her and was given a phone number to call. All of her calls to that number went unanswered and were never returned. She even tried reporting these incidents to a different police department, Washington Township, but the moment she mentioned that her ex was a cop, officers stopped helping. All of her requests for a restraining order were ignored. By the state attorney general's rules, whenever a law enforcement officer is involved in a domestic violence incident as either the alleged perp or victim, internal affairs must be notified. If the officer is the alleged perpetrator, his weapons are to be taken away. The police also had an obligation to notify the state police, who would have put Santos on administrative leave and taken his weapons. None of that happened in this case. Even the night of the murders, neighbors called the police to report screaming and the sound of gunshots at Semanchik home.
My boyfriend and I just heard something very strange. We heard gunshots and also screaming. And the screaming sounded, pretty close. And then, when it stopped, the last shot, it was quiet.
Okay.
And, anyway.
We have patrol responding out to the area to check it out, okay?
And again, I hope I'm not bothering anybody, but it was too weird.
Franklin Township Police.
Hi, I'm sorry. We don't typically do this, but we just heard something that sounded really strange.
Over Upper Kingstown
there
Road
were
area?
about 7-ish gunshots. We thought we heard some screaming, and then the noises stopped. Hello?
Hello? Yeah, Upper Kingstown Road area?
We're on White Bridge Road.
Okay, yeah, we have a report of that, yeah.
Okay.
About 5,
it
6
was
shots,
about like 5-ish minutes ago, and it just sounded really weird, so we felt like we had to say something.
Yep, I have an officer on his way in the area.
911, where's the emergency?
It's not actually on this property, but I just heard a bunch of gunshots. It sounded very loud.
Okay,
and
what's
it's not
the
hunting
address?
season. On Upper Kingstown Road. It's not on this property. I just heard it from this property, and I heard some screaming. Like, I'm up on the hill, so it sounded like down the hill, and maybe
How many of them did you hear?
5
Just
or 6.
round about 5 to 6? And that's
Yeah.
just before you called?
Yeah, no, it was very loud. I mean, but sound really carries here. Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
I'll send patrol out to the area. If it continues to happen, just give us a call back, but I got them going your way.
Okay, I haven't heard anything since. It was the screaming that made me a little nervous.
But it was right before you called, correct?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, not a problem. I'll send them someone out.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thanks. Bye.
Police went to the call, claimed they couldn't find the location, and left. Semanchik's sister and father found her and Webb dead on her back deck the next day. They'd both been shot in the back. Police reported it as a call about an unconscious woman. If true, that means that if the police had properly investigated the night before, Semanchik may still be alive and Santos might have been apprehended. The department has not commented on the investigation, but the allegations of corruption are so severe that the county prosecutor has taken over the Franklin Township Department, citing concerns about the department's operations and effectiveness. A police chief and sergeant have even been placed on leave. Not only that, but an investigation revealed that Santos was previously named in a civil suit brought on by 4 of his female co-workers. That lawsuit ran over 118 pages and accused both Santos and a sergeant of manipulating electronic timesheets to collect over $400,000 in base and overtime pay, among other criminal behaviors. To date, that lawsuit is still pending. Santos wasn't just any gun owner. He was a member of law enforcement. That very same law enforcement that many say are the only ones who should be allowed to have guns, who are often carved out as exceptions to gun control laws. He was part of Governor Murphy's elite armed protection detail, and he used those privileges to stalk, harass, and eventually murder this woman. Meanwhile, Semanchik was failed repeatedly at every level. Now, we know the cops have no duty to protect. That has been decided by the Supreme Court. But this department went beyond that. All of these departments did, ignoring reports of criminal behavior to protect their own, and now Santos and 2 other people are dead. 3 families have been absolutely ripped apart. Now, we don't know if Semanchik ever tried to get a gun for her own protection, but she likely would have faced roadblocks, making it near impossible. New Jersey has strict laws, with some jurisdictions notorious for denying permits or making them so expensive that few people can even apply. Historically, one had to prove that their life was in danger to even be approved. And if the cops are denying your life is in danger and are the ones responsible for making that decision, how can they be trusted to make that call, especially in situations like this? Because of that system, the wrong man was trusted with these special rights and privileges, while everyday citizens without a badge are stripped of their rights with, at least in this case, no way to get any protection, even from the law. Both Semanchik and Webb's families are suing the police department, which of course will come out of taxpayer dollars, alleging that a blue wall of silence led to their deaths. A memorial fund for the Semanchiks has been started by the animal hospital that Semanchik worked at and has already raised over $90,000. Given the pervasiveness of the corruption in this case, I doubt that it stops there. I wouldn't be surprised if, during the investigation, they somehow found out that there were other similar incidents of people going to the police for help and being turned away because the alleged perpetrator was one of the police's own. Alright everyone, that is it for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe if you are new here. Ring that notification bell. Drop a comment down below. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there, and happy shooting.